What's up guys, and welcome to FPL Today. I'm your host JNO, welcome to the channel and welcome to my team for Game Week 17 Transfer Thoughts, where I go over in detail all of the problems I have with my side and the transfers I'm kind of looking at to fix the problems and other players outside of those transfers, so you can get an idea what I'm thinking going into Game Week 17. So let's get straight into the video, and we start off this episode with the fires to put out. And it would be really nice if one game week there wouldn't be any fires I really need to put out. Gone are the days when I felt like I could carry a transfer with this busy Christmas period. The fires I need to put out: Sane's performance against Chelsea. Now, in my defence, these graphics and these thoughts start formulating before the Champions League games. I am fully aware that Sane had a blinding game against Hoffenheim. The issue now is I think he's probably not going to start in the Game Week 17 fixtures because he played the full 90 minutes both last weekend and in the Champions League. But he had a great performance, so not as worried now about his place in that Pep Guardiola team. But it's still an issue. I think he's most likely going to be rested and then maybe brought on if necessary. Two Wolves defence at the back is a bit of a worry for me because of the lack of their clean sheets recently. Doherty is pretty safe in my side after his continuous attacking returns, but I think I'll be better off, especially in this busy period, to have someone other than Bennett in that side, so we will look at people we could replace him with. I still want two Man City midfielders, but the issue there is that possible now that Salah is returning points, as well as the fact that I really like the look of Heung-Min Son. So I don't think there's any possible way I can have Salah, two Man City midfielders, and Heung-Min Son. If there is, please let me know and I'll consider it. But do I still want two Man City midfielders? We also have Callum Wilson's injury. It doesn't look like it's going to be long term, but we just have a quick look at players that could come in to replace his part in my FPL team. And then the Trent rotation. A little bit worried because he's now picked up a knock after the game against Napoli in the midweek Champions League fixture. And kind of wish I'd stayed with Robertson, although I was always considering downgrading some defenders to spend more in midfield. So we're going to have a look at all of that. Let's get on with the first topic. And that first topic is fixtures. We quickly have a look over the fixtures, who has favourable next 6 fixtures in the FPL game, so I know which kind of teams I want to focus on. Huddersfield actually now have a very good next 6 fixtures, with only really Man United in their third game being a difficult fixture for them, and you never know with Man United which Man United is going to turn up. The likes of Chelsea, Arsenal, Man City and Spurs are still with very favourable fixtures, as are West Ham, but they do now have Arsenal at the tail end of that. And Fulham and Watford also have good fixtures. I'm just not sure there's any options in those two sides I'm really keen on bringing in, hence why they're there at the bottom. So, topic-wise, we start off with the Salah conundrum. Now, the way I was going to have two Man City midfielders, and probably Heung-Min Son as well, was by downgrading Mohamed Salah. So, of course, in the game week where I'm considering right afterwards to transfer him out, he goes and scores a hat-trick. Now, I can't complain because I actually was a beneficiary of 21 points. Shame I didn't captain him, of course, but whilst I have said I'm not 100% sure this is the sign of things to come, he then had a pretty damn good game against Napoli as well. And if Sadio Mane could actually finish, he would have had some assists to go with his goal in that Napoli game. So Salah at 13 million, of course, a big part of my budget, returned 36 points in the last 4 game weeks. That's 3 out of 4 games he actually returned points in. 4 goals, 1 assist with 3 bonus points. And as we can see in the underlying stats, he's not doing too bad as well. Attempts on goal, he's actually decreased his attempts on goal. He's only joint 12th for attempts on goal in the league. However, from inside the box, joint 4th with 8. On target, he's 2nd with 7. Big chances, he's joint 3rd with 3. And a minute per chance at 30.7. And a chances created at 9, which is joint 8th. And also big chances created. He's created 4 big chances for his teammate, which puts him first for midfielders. So the underlying stats, as I have always said, are still there. And now if the points are going to start coming along with that, can I really transfer him out? So it now comes down to, do I go with the Man City double, which I think I can still just about manage with Mohamed Salah in the side, or do I go with Heung-Min Son and only one Man City midfielder, which would probably be Leroy Sane purely because of price? Now, the most attacking midfielders in the Man City side are, of course, Raheem Sterling, Leroy Sane and Riyad Mahrez. And they are going to rotate. We just have to accept that. With David Silva out, but Kevin De Bruyne coming back in, you could potentially look at Bernardo Silva as well. But I think these 3 are the ones that look the most promising season long as far as an attacking threat. And whenever Riyad Mahrez does come on for Sane or Sterling, he does look very impressive. And then there's Heung-Min Son. And as you can see, I've highlighted in green these stats where one of the players is better than the other three in the last 4 game weeks. Now, Sterling, of course, 27 points, has returned 1 in 3. Sane, 32 points, has returned 3 out of 4 fixtures. Mahrez, 8.5 with 17 points, has returned 1 out of 2 fixtures. And then we have Heung-Min Son at 8.5 million, has returned 4 in 4. So Heung-Min Son looking very, very promising there. They've all got goals. Mahrez only with 1, whereas Sane's got 3 along with Heung-Min Son, and Sterling's only got 2. And then assists is 2 apiece for Sterling, Sane and Heung-Min Son, with Riyad Mahrez falling behind as well in that one. Bonus points equal between Sterling and Son, but then Son really seems to stand out as far as underlying stats. He's got 16 attempts on goal, which is first for a midfielder. From inside the box, 10, which is joint first for a midfielder. On target, first for a midfielder with 9. And big chances, joint first for a midfielder with 4, with a minute per chance at 20.1. If we look at all the other midfielders, they all have 30 plus minutes per chance. So Heung-Min Son looking very, very promising right now. Sane clearly above everyone else as far as chances created though, with 10 big chances. Mahrez and Sane with 2 apiece. So for me, Son is actually looking very, very promising at 8.5 million. Looking good value for money, which is why I feel like he needs to come into my side. Only issue with that is I'd probably have to take a -4 to bring him in this game week. And I can see a price rise, especially if Son does return more points in this game week as well. But then there's always the worry of Kane. If I don't have Kane, I need a Spurs player right now, I feel, to cover for those points. And Son looks the most promising to me. Then we move on to too many Wolves players, and this is the same problem from last week, but I didn't address it with my transfer. I don't want Ryan Bennett anymore. I think with the way the fixtures are going, I do not need 2 players from one team's defence. Now, Lucas Digne is, of course, the most favoured option as far as an attacking threat. 20 points at 4.9 million from 4 games, with 2 returns in 4 games, one of them being a clean sheet, 1 goal, 1 assist. That is very, very promising for a defender. However, if I'm trying to save some of my budget for Heung-Min Son, then I'm going to be looking at someone cheaper than Digne, and we have Congolo and Hada Jonaj. I probably really butchered that. 2 players I am looking at right now to potentially come into my side. Both probably not going to set the world alight like potentially Lucas Digne can, but there is clean sheets there, 1 apiece. There's a goal there for Congolo as well at 4.3 million, and they both seem relatively nailed on right now in a very busy fixture period. And Huddersfield, especially with Congolo, they do rotate very well with Doherty and Wan-Bissaka, who I already own. And then we look at the Wilson injury, which is a concern, although to be honest, Eddie Howe has come out and said it doesn't look like a long-term thing. The easiest way to swap would be to go to Joshua King. However, I have Ryan Fraser. This could be my way out of having 2 Bournemouth players if he is out for a considerable amount of time. The only issue with King is potentially he's taken a back seat to Wilson. So there's the possibility he steps up his performance with Wilson gone. But right now his underlying stats aren't brilliant. He's only returned 1 out of 4 of the last fixtures with points, 13 points in total, 1 goal, 1 bonus point, 7 attempts on goal, 5 from inside the box. These stats aren't incredible, I will admit that. However, it's a nice easy swap, saves me some money going towards that Son transfer as well. And then we've got Mitrovic at 6.7 million. Now Ranieri is in charge at Fulham. Could things change? Mitrovic is starting to return points again, 21 points in the last 4 game weeks, with 2 of those games getting points, 2 goals, 1 assist, 3 bonus points, 12 attempts on goal, 9 from inside the box, 6 on target. He has had a big chance out of that, and he has created 5 chances for his teammates as well. So Mitrovic starting to go back to the kind of form he had at the beginning of the season. So I am very interested in monitoring that situation as well. Both would save me some money. King, of course, saving me a bit more because I really, really want Heung-Min Son if I haven't made that clear yet. And that is it for this episode of my team for Game Week 17 transfer thoughts. Hopefully that's given you an insight into the kind of players I'm looking at bringing in and the kind of mindset behind my team before I make my final moves. Of course, if you want to know my final team lineup and how I'm doing throughout the weekend, make sure to follow me on Twitter at JNO United and also to follow me on Instagram, JNO_United. For updates on how I'm doing and my final team lineup. And then of course, come back to the channel next week where there will be more FPL content. Make sure to hit that subscribe, that like and that notification bell. And then another thing, sorry to overload you, Tonight we should be streaming live with the Wildcats, so make sure to go subscribe to the Wildcat channel and be there for tonight's stream. Maybe we have a special guest, we're working on it, so tune in to find out who that might be. I've been JNO, this has been FPL Today, and remember, it's all about the game.